We're here live, starting a new Siman. Siman Reish Nun Vav, the short Siman that very few people learn. And even those who learn them probably don't understand what is going on, why we don't do it anymore. Or do we? So without further ado, we will start with the Mishna Beruras. Now we take us around 5 minutes to do all of the Mishna Beruras on these short Siman. And then we're going to have some more discussions about nowadays.
The Torah on this?
There is. We're going to do the Mishnah Berurah first. We'll come back to the Torah. We'll come back to the source, the Gemara. The source already is the Be'er Agola, Gemara and Shabbos, Lamed Hey. We'll open that Gemara also. Do the Gemara. We'll do the Mishnah Berurah first. Shisha tekiya shahayatoikim be'erev Shabbos ubosef echad. Talking about 6 tekiyas that they would blow on erev Shabbos, and it has one sif. They would blow shofar 6 times. Not talking about Rosh Hashanah, it's talking about before Shabbos. Kishay Yisrael be Yeshuvon hayutoikin berev Shabbos shisha tekiyos kedi lahavdi lasa'a min hamalacha. When the Jews were be Yeshuvon, we have to translate exactly what be Yeshuvon is. So when they were in Yeshuvon, they would blow the shofar on the eve of Shabbos 6 times. Kedei lahavdil esa'a min hamalacha, to separate people from working. ונהגו בקהילות הקדושים שכל שהוא סמוך לשבס כחצי שעה שמחריש שליח ציבור להכין עצמו לשבס. And the custom in the holy congregations developed, explained the Rama, that if it was near Shabbos, around a half an hour near Shabbos, or an hour, the messenger of the congregation, the chazan, the type of shamish, some sort of gabbai, someone who was involved in communal activities, you would announce, prepare yourself, prepare yourself for Shabbos. This is instead of the shofar that they used to blow in their day and age. This is what is fitting to do in all places. The Rama clearly wants some sort of announcement to be made to warn people that it's near Shabbos, around a half hour, an hour before Shabbos. Comes along the Mishnah Berura and says, "Samach l'Shabbos k'chotzi shor, hainu chotzi shor koidim sheniskasa hashemesh mitanu." This means a half an hour before the sun gets covered from us. So what in English this means is this is around 12 minutes before the time to light. Because when does the sun get covered from us? That's what we call shkia. That's sunset. Comes out that this announcement that the Rama is referring to is going to be around 10 minutes before Shabbos begins. And this is an announcement that is made by some sort of communal activist, so to say. And he's making this announcement for all of the members of the city that they should prepare themselves for Shabbos. Labali malachos, and for people who are working, it is fitting that a person should be sent to stop them from working even beforehand. 2.5 hours before 3 stars come out, which is the time of Mincha Ketana. This is approximately an hour and 15 minutes before the sun gets covered, aka before sunset. In other words, what we see from over here is the idea, the concept of you cannot work to the last minute of Shabbos and should not. That's what we see from this. Plenty of people, they wait too long. We learned this. We learned about this in Siman Reishmim test. Yeah.
They made a whole big deal that you really should bachatzos, stop, etc. And here we're seeing, point blank that
No, Chatzos is a nice idea. Midday, but this is from the letter of the law. So to say, more of the letter of the law. The Sharat Zion. discusses this a little bit more. In Beizu Bavonasina Harabim Nispashare Minuk Bakama Makoin Musha Uisin Ad Samach Lashkia. There are great sins and iniquities. The custom spread, so to say, in many places people work until sunset. This is because a lot of people are poor and they need the money. To enhance Shabbos. You can't protest this with them. If you don't need this, be careful with this. In other words, person's gotta be careful with this. This is no joke. Mishna Berura continues and says, Old Kosovo Magen Avram writes more, Did Ra'ui Lebali Hachanuyu Sheyiskru Chanusan. It's fitting that store owners should close their stores Kimo Sha'a Koidem Shabbos, around an hour before Shabbos. So we see 2 points. Number one, we see regarding employees. Employees should stop working, or at least someone should be sent to them by Mincha Ketana. Whereas a businessman or a store owner, that you have a little bit more time. It should be around 1 hour. Because the stumbling blocks are great associated with this. One time, a higher official or an important individual, someone who's going to be spending a lot of money, is going to come. And you know how they are. They come right by the closing. And the transactions, the business transactions, they will continue until it's actual dark, till it's Shabbos. Besides for this kafiyah ragu, which is regularly practiced, unfortunately, shanoshim kishabos me'achanuyos roichsois veloivshois big day Shabbos koidim halakas anedos. Ve'im yisachrum ala milotzeis yavo chos v'shalom l'sofik chil Shabbos ubefrat b'yomim haketzarim. Women, they come from the store sometimes, and they wash, and they put on Shabbos clothing before they light the candles. And if they're going to delay, they might get into a doubt of desecrating Shabbos, especially on the short days. Therefore, and earlier, be very careful with this. Regarding accepting Shabbos, people stumble with this. O Kabbalah Shabbos kefi hanog b'yameinu oisin kol asarachlem l'Shabbos af al pi shu layla mamish. Regarding accepting Shabbos, some people mess up with that too. A lot of people, they yeshlem heter b'ta'os. They make something permissible in a mistaken manner. In other words, it's wrong what they're doing. They say that as long as I didn't say Baruch Hu or accept Shabbos, could do whatever I want, even though it's night. It's not true. Therefore, they should accept Shabbos earlier. Therefore, you should accept Shabbos and don't wait for someone in shul or something that didn't come to accept Shabbos, because it's a big merit for him not to desecrate the Shabbos because of him. In other words, if a guy is late to shul, don't wait for him and wait for everyone to accept Shabbos. No. Time to accept Shabbos finished. You go for it. Something that people need to be very careful about, getting too close to Shabbos. The Rama said that in all places, this is the custom. One should accustom himself, rather, in this way in all places. Meaning that someone announces the Shabbos.
Not B'Yeshuvin.
We're going to discuss what B'Yeshuvin was. We didn't translate that yet. Now, this doesn't have to be a verbal announcement. We'll see what else it could be. Shofar, it could be anything that people know that it's Shabbos. I'm saying that's what it is. Mishna Berura beis in all places, in order that the Jews will not come to desecrate Shabbos. But kehilus kedoilus mode, shief shalachris, in very big congregations that it's impossible to announce. Nachal mode sheyimsu anoshim hamesnavdim ba'am leleilach lezars b'kol rechovos kiriyo al dover segiros hachanuyos ve'alokas aneirus. It is very correct. You should find people who are generous towards the nation, meaning they give their time, and they're going to go and warn people in all streets of the city regarding closing the stores and lighting near the neiros on time. B'ka'etz nimsu kain b'kama yaros, and now we find this in many cities, gedolos, many big cities. Chaburos kedoishois hamiyusadois al hashkochas haShabbos. Big groups that are holy, that are founded on, based on paying attention to Shabbos, making sure that people realize when Shabbos is going to come in. V'ashrei chelkam, fortunate is their lot, is their portion. Because they are going to bring merit to the Jews, for the Jews, to their Father in heaven. And these people will marry boys who will be learning Torah. What? Great people in Israel. The Banim Gedolya Israel, sorry. The Banim Gedolya Israel. Great people among Israel. Thank you. That is all of the Mishna Beruras of the Siman. I mean, you have a little bit of length in the Sharat Tziyud. We find the Gemara in Shabbos discusses about bringing merit to the masses. We have a Yalkut in Shmuel talks about Elkanah. When he would be Oilul Oregel, when he would go to the Beis HaMikdash every single year, he would always go a different route. People would say, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to Beis HaMikdash. Come with me." Hashem said, Elkanah, you wanted to bring merit to the masses? A boy will come from you who will bring merit to the masses like you've never seen before. Shmuel came from Elkanah, if you don't know the story. Very nice little Agadat and Siman. Agada, I should say. Based on what we learned in Reish Sadi. So you walk away from the Siman after learning this Mishna Berura. This is all Mishna Berura. You kind of feel what's going on over here. What's the source? A little bit more about it. Feel, why do we do this nowadays anymore? What happened? The Gemara is the source of this. The Gemara in Shabbos on Lamed Hey has almost a full Amud on this. Gemara starts from all the way up here, Tanu Rabbanan. It continues till all the way to the bottom, and then it goes into another point. We'll learn part of the Gemara from where this bracket is. Tana debei Rabbi Yishmael was taught in the base medrash of Rabbi Yishmael. Sheish tekiyos toikin eriv Shabbos. They would blow the shofar 6 different times on eriv Shabbos. Hischil litkoyo tekiyah rishona. When they began blowing the first shofar blowing, Nimnu ha'oimdim besoda milador. The people that were standing in the field refrained from basically using their hoe. Rashi says melachpor, from digging. They stopped digging. Umelachrosh and plowing. Umelasois koyim alocha shebesados. And they would stop doing all work in the field. That was their primary method of income back then. And that's how they would work in the field. Ve'ein hakeroivim rashoin likones ad she'yavo rechoikim. People who were close weren't allowed to enter until the people who were far came. This is talking about far in the field, says Rashi. Shelo yachshidu hanechnosim be'achroino loimer she'osku b'malachos anachar sheshamu kol shofar she'ina kol magirim mikroivim mirochoikim. You don't want people to suspect that they were still doing work. You didn't know who was close, who was far. So therefore they had an order. First, the people who were further out in the fields had to enter in, and the people who were closer. Yakansu kulam ke'echad, and then they would enter in all together, like we just saw in Rashi. In the meantime, all the stores are still open. And the terisin are placed. Rashi explains terisin hein dal losos hachanuyos. However, if you look at the textual girsa change of Rashi over here, there's a text change. Some say it's chaloinos. This is based on a Rashi, Maseches Beitza and Yudam Aleph. Terisin. I think that actually has to do with birds over there, if I'm not mistaken. So this is referring to that the windows would still be there. When they made the second shofar blow, nistalku hatrisin, v'nalu hachanuyos. You already had to close the windows for the shops and close up the stores. This could be a source of window shopping. But the chamin was still placed on the oven. What's the chamin? Rashi says, they had hot water that was used to dilute the wine. That was still on the oven. The kederos munachois al gabi kiru. You still had pots that were placed on the oven. If they began blowing the shofar a third time, silek hametzalek, the remover removed. Rashi explains this is referring to kederos asuyos listalek lamacha alayla, pots that were going to be used, the dishes, everything that was going to be for food for at night is removed. V'hitmin hamatmin. And you put away what was going to be used the next day, Rashi says. V'hidlik hamadlik, time to light, the Ner Shabbos. V'shoya kedei slias dag kotten, o kedei lahadbe paslatano, and you would wait the amount of time it took to roast a small fish or to attach bread to the oven. V'toikeyu maria v'tokei, you'd blow shofar, v'shoyvis, and then you stop. No more activities, and you wait for Shabbos. Amar Rebbi Yosi Bar Chanina Shamati, I heard. She'im bo lahadlik acher sheish tekiyos madlik. If you want to light after the 6 tekiyos, you could still light the Ner. Shahari nasnu chachamim shir lechazan hakesed ahoylich shofar basic, because they still gave time for the person, the chazan in shul, that was blowing the shofar, to bring his shofar back home. Merlo, the Gemara. Wait a second, you can ask a kasha on that. So now you're saying it's case dependent because some people live further for another. Let's say you live a half hour away. How much time do you have? So you see, Rashi says the holiness of Shabbos still didn't enter in, and then the Gemara questions itself because it depends until when. Hakneses beroish gago sheshamani shofar. Fishin metalton is a shofar v'lo echad. Soitzois. Rather, the chazan had by the rooftop over there a special place that was designated to place the shofar. Because you're not allowed to move a shofar or trumpets on Shabbos, Rashi specifies even in a private domain. So then the Gemara will proceed to question, but the Brisa says you are allowed to move a shofar. So then the Gemara will go into that more, and that will be the next stage of this Gemara, which is, of course, a tangent. We see that this is the source. And the whole purpose for this is so that people enter into Shabbos on time. Practically nowadays, person has to be wise about this, especially in large families, limited showers, a lot of kids, especially if they're younger and they need assistance. I happen to be of the school of thought that it's good to get the kids out of the house, not just keep them there the whole hour of Shabbos. Because you keep them there Erev Shabbos and Shabbos, people get very antsy. They're not going anywhere. So I happen to think that it's a great idea to get the kids out, get them to do an activity, enjoy the activity. They get to think about it over Shabbos, what they did a little bit. They get to, have some change of scenery, so to say. But if you're going to take them out, you got some responsibilities beforehand. Talking nail cutting. If you got a lot of kids, cut those nails before. Don't save that till after. You already have showers that you need to work on, or baths, etc. Setting the table. Set that table early on. Set that early in the day, as we learn. Right? Prepare the candles. You can prepare them earlier in the day. You can do that also. All of these preparations, tidying up, etc., whatever it is, getting the house ready for Shabbos. You can do that all before. This all helps with the process, but still, at the end of the day, the main preparations is the food. It's got to get taken care of responsibly. Don't leave everything for last minute. Don't leave too much when you have to do the baths and the showers and putting on Shabbos clothing. Don't leave it till then. You know it's coming. Do it in advance. Do it calm. The Yetzer Hara, the Satan, he's very strong. Erev Shabbos talks about very, very powerful. It's the end of the week. A lot of times people are tired. Be smart. If you're tired, also take a quick 10-minute nap earlier in the day. You'll be able to focus better, prepare for Shabbos harder. No one said it's easy. It's tough work. Tough work. No one said it's easy. Even if a person has help, there's always stuff to get done before Shabbos. Get the stuff done, whatever it is. You have cars you want to plug it in for Shabbos, charge over Shabbos. Whatever it is, whatever a person's doing. Be smart about it. That's the point of this. That's what we're learning about. Now, the obvious question from what we're learning about is, should we do this nowadays? Should we not do this? Why not? So in some places they have loud sounds. As we know, over here in Farakoi, they have from, I think it's the Hatzalah, right? I think they do it by the Hatzalah next to Beis Yaakov. They have the loud sirens. You could hear them from a couple miles away, especially in the winter time, when I think that you don't have all the trees with their leaves and bushes, so the sound travels more. That's just my opinion. I think that's factual also. I know I've heard it all the way from Woodmere Boulevard in Woodsburg, which is around 3 mile distance, 3 miles roughly. So it could be also because it travels like through the water and there's no houses there, so you hear it more. If you know the geography, you'll understand what I'm talking about, of the Far Rockaway Five Towns area. I know we hear it from our house, which is around 1.5 miles away. We hear it very clear. So you have that. You have certain place in Eretz Yisrael that does this. And it's not a real shofar, it's just a very loud sound. Siren. So the question is, what's the story over here? So I think I saw a very nice footnote. I don't know so much about the Sefer who they quote. They quote over here in a few places the Chidushei Rebbi Gedalya. I just tried looking it up on the Otzer. I couldn't find it on the Otzer Chachma. But this is the first time I recall seeing this sefer quoted, learning from the Torahs of it. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but they give a very nice introduction. They give a very beautiful uh, comment over here. Here, they translate the Shulchan Aruch. When the Jews are biyeshuvan, biyeshuvan means they're in their own territory and they're not living among other nations. It's just Jewish people. Then they would blow the shofar. Why? Very simple. This reminds me of the menorah and Chanukah. Also, some of the reasons, which we'll discuss next year. Mitzvah Hashem and Tafresh Ayin Aleph. We already discussed, according to RabbiBlan.com, the Mishna Berura section over there in 761. 671, excuse me. But we'll discuss them more next year. Mitzvah Hashem. The language of the Rambam in Hilchot Shabbos Parakei Halacha Yerches is every single country and city where there are Jews, they blow the shofar 6 times. You learn from the words of the Ma'aser Rokeach. The Ma'aser Rokeach learns from, the Rambam, that even in the diaspora outside of Israel, even in Chutz La'aretz, this applies. Source, the Gemara in Shabbos, Lamed Hey. It's Gemara in Chulin that talks about it. In Bavel, Chulin, Chavav, they would blow shofar. This is outside of Israel. Caf Hachaim quotes the Ruach Chaim who says, why is this? Pachar Goyim. You're going to do this, you're going to blow shofar, and there's a lot of people who aren't Jewish there. It could create animosity, anti-Semitism, maybe. Oh, the loud noise, what are you doing? They're afraid of that. So now, if there's no a concern of that nowadays, which nowadays, at least in the past 2 years, most places in the world, there probably is a concern about this. So then you could do this. Chidushei Rebbi Gedalya asks a question. Why don't we do this nowadays? Like the Gemara says, even the Rama says that the Chazan, that someone gets up and he announces, fellow Jews, Shabbos is coming. But that's not Medina the Gemara. From the Gemara, you're supposed to blow a shofar. Why don't we do this? Don't say that it's not an obligatory, because the Rambam, it's implied from the Rambam, Perikei Halacha Yirches and Hilchos Shabbos, that it's a full-fledged obligation. It's a Takanas Chachamim. This is an enactment from the rabbis. So answers Rebbi Gedalya, Chidushei Rebbi Gedalya. Since the first Tekiah, why do we blow the shofar the first time? What do we learn in the Gemara? It's for the people in the fields.
Fields, right?
Do we have people in the fields nowadays? How many Jewish farmers are there?
But that's the first ones.
Oh, very good. But if you don't have the first one, you don't have the whole Seder Tekiyos anymore. You don't have the whole order, and then the whole enactment of doing this is batal. Everything falls down. It's like you have a tower that has 5,000, say about it, that has 50,000 cards. They're all stacked up. Magnet tiles, massive tower.
Take away the foundation.
You pull out one card, the whole thing goes flying. House of Cards. They probably have videos online you could watch about this. They take out one card, the whole thing goes flying. Yeah. Anyways, that's what's happening over here. Whole thing is out. So, it says over here, there's a Ber Halacha and Siman Rishon Aleph, Dibur Maskul Yesh Mefarshim, who asks a question, why don't people stop working? Here it is, for Mincha Gedola. Halachic midday, eriv Shabbos. That's the time when they would blow the shofar for the first time. So he answers, since nowadays, a lot of times the food's already prepared. They're not coming back from the field. It's a whole journey. They're miles out in the field. They have to walk. So therefore, you don't need to stop as early, maybe. So do this whole situation over here. For blowing the shofar is out. Forget about it. That's the a very important point that he's bringing up over here. I didn't see anyone else talk about it. It's a very good point.
Apparently, we still do it.
Well, most places don't, and the reason is twofold. Number one, because is it going to lead to anti-Semitism? Number two is we don't have that first shofar that we do anymore because no one's really in the fields. So there's basically two reasons not to. If a place wants to do it and it's a predominantly Jewish area, geographically, most people there are Jewish and they want to do it. They could do it. Great. Why not? What do you have to lose by doing it? You're just warning people. That's it. Shabbos is coming.
It was that first time of anti-Semitism. I'm sure there's something I don't like it.
Yeah, sure some of them don't. So, I mean, the Torah, if you want to just look at the Torah over here, he doesn't add anything. I mean, there's the Gemara. 6 tekiyos they would do Erev Shabbos. But Makom Gavo in a tall place. Because when you're high up, the sound travels more. Like I was saying before, with the leaves and with the buildings in the way. So everyone could hear it. Kadesh Yishmu Kulam. Then he goes through what the tekiyos are, and we saw it in the Gemara, so we don't need to repeat this again. And
Trying because when you say Shechashashu, is that a din of Marasayan? Is that a din of?
Oh, going back to that footnote.
I think he brings it like the question was why the closer ones this that you have to wait for the ones who are out.
Oh, because of that, yeah. In Rashi in the Gemara, yeah.
Rashi goes down to
there could be, there could be suspicion.
It's Marasayan or it's
yeah.
What's it called?
Oh yeah, here the Beis Yosef quotes it. You don't want to. You don't want people thinking that other people are working on Shabbos. So.
Isim Nikim.
Yeah, Isim Nikim. Yeah, all the above. All the above. So the Bach is quoted over here. The Taz quotes this also. He says the Bach says nowadays the custom in many congregations is when it's a half hour before Mincha, they make a sort of an announcement to get rolling over here and get ready for Shabbos. And he says if it's a place that has people who aren't Jewish, you go from one house to another. Someone would used to be assigned to do this, or he would volunteer his time. He was a volunteer. That's what I mentioned, misnavdim, like we saw in the Mishna Berura. They would volunteer their time, and that is instead of the shofar, and that's basically the Bach. So
the Mishna Berura was the first one to use that lashon misnavdim.
He probably gets it from somewhere else. I mean, but I mean it's based on this Bach over here. The Shulchan Aruch is going to quote it also in short. There's no Taz on the Siman actually. There is a Magen Avram. He quotes this Bach. Quotes it in short. Questions it a little bit based on technicalities of the tekiyos and everything. But
how do we come up with the 18 minutes, the 18
minutes? That's Siman Reish Samach Aleph, which deals with the timing of Shabbos and the exact timing when Shabbos starts, exactly when it ends.
In terms of the tekiyos, I think it's we're doing 36 minutes beforehand technically.
Right. Comes up a little bit. Just the idea is, don't wait till the last minute. And, so this is basically an interesting siman. It was, it's a siman in Shulchan Aruch, part of Hilchos Shabbos. Now we have it down. We can cross it off our list of simanim that we didn't do yet. And, I mean, I think it's still relevant in some way. We should realize don't wait till the last moment. When we say it's time to light, that means really the last time you should be lighting before. All right. So Mitzvah Hashem, next time we will continue.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's straightforward. Like the Gemara says, Divrei Torah, Aniyim b'makom echad ve'ashirim b'makom acher. Some places they're poor, other places they're wealthy. Some places there's more to say, some people more to say, sometimes there's less to say. That's all. Pretty much straightforward.
What's the sefer that Reb Chaim put out about it's like a Kitzur Shulchan Aruch for Mishna Berura?
Oh, that it's not really, a little bit of a Kitzur. It's 6 volumes. What's the name of that sefer? I have it in my house. I can't believe I forgot the name. Oh, Shoni Halachos. Yeah, that's it. Shoni Halachos Shkayach.
What's that like? What's that? Is it very?
Yeah, look, I have it. I barely open it. There aren't so many chidushim. That's why it's apparently he condenses the Mishnah Berura. He summarizes it. I don't know.
What does that mean? Like what? Like I'm saying,
Makes it a little
oh,
bit shorter.
but it's like the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch or what?
No, it's more thorough than that.
And okay, fine.
I'm not a kitzer guy. I'm a deep diver.
No, and I
Yeah,
know I'm
good
well
to know.
aware. But all right, fine. Sounds good.
All right, David. Have a wonderful day.
All right, likewise.